Why sometimes drive who writers make characters so easily overlooked. With lots of points when no. Titled The Quiet Heroes of Doctor Who, Understanding Why Certain Characters Get Overlooked. You'd think that in a show as vast and sprawling as Doctor Who, every character would get their moment to shine. But the truth is, some of the most interesting and complex characters in the universe often get overlooked in favor of their more prominent counterparts. So, why is this happening? And what does it say about the show's approach to storytelling? Firstly, let's look at the sheer scale of Doctor Who. With over 50 years of history, thousands of characters, and hundreds of episodes, it's a logistical nightmare for any writer to keep track of every single person who's ever appeared on screen. This means that some characters inevitably get lost in the shuffle, relegated to the background or even cut from episodes altogether. But it's not just about logistics. The writers of Doctor Who often prioritize plot over character development, which can result in entire storylines being driven by the Doctor's interactions with the main villain or companion of the week. While this approach can lead to thrilling action sequences and high-stakes drama, it can also lead to some characters feeling superficial or underdeveloped. Take the example of Lieutenant Elara Vex, a cyborg from the season 10 episode Rosa. On paper, Elara sounds like a fascinating character. She's a brilliant scientist with a penchant for itis pop culture and a complex moral code. But in the actual episode, she's relegated to a few lines of exposition and a brief cameo. Why? Because the focus of the episode is on the historical theme of the Roman Empire, and Elara's storyline gets sacrificed for the greater good. This is a crucial point. The writers of Doctor Who often make sacrifices when it comes to character development in order to service the larger narrative. This can result in some characters feeling like they're just props or plot devices, rather than fully fleshed out beings. Another reason why characters get overlooked is because of the show's tendency to rely on tropes and familiarities. We've all seen the angry young doctor or the sassy companion before, and it's easy to rely on those shorthand character archetypes rather than investing the time and effort to create something more complex. It's not that the writers are lazy, it's just that they're often constrained by the expectation that audiences want certain types of characters in certain roles. The result is a character cast that's surprisingly two-dimensional, with even some of the most intriguing characters feeling like they're stuck in a rut. Take the example of Osgood, the brilliant scientist from Neil Gaiman's Dark Water episode. She's a fascinating character with a rich backstory and a unique perspective on the universe, but by the end of the episode, she's been reduced to a single, emotive speech. It's almost as if the writers ran out of ideas and had to rely on Osgood's usual tropes to propel the story forward. Interestingly, the character of Osgood was created specifically to be a fan favorite. Yet, even she can't escape the show's tendency to reduce complex characters to simplistic archetypes. This highlights the tension between the show's desire to be a character-driven drama and its need to prioritize plot above all else. This brings us to the final point: the overlooked characters of Doctor Who often have a lot to say about the show's themes and social commentary. Take the example of the character from Orphan 55. While the show did a great job of tackling the transphobic tropes and stereotypes that plague media, we could have done more with this character. Writer Chris Chibnall has said that he based this character on his own experiences as a gay man in a family that struggled to accept him. That's a powerful personal investment in the character, but what we see on screen is ultimately a watered-down, sanitized version of those struggles. It's almost as if the writer felt more comfortable sticking to familiar, more doctrinaire solutions to the issue of trans representation, rather than letting the character speak for herself. This is a recurring pattern in Doctor Who. The show's desire to comment on real-world issues can lead to characterizations that feel shallow, stereotypical, or, worst of all, outright dismissive. In conclusion, the overlooked characters of Doctor Who are a fascinating and underexplored area of the show's vast narrative. While it's not entirely the writer's fault, the sheer scale of the show, the pressure to prioritize plot, and the danger of relying on tropes and familiarities all take a toll on character development. There are steps the writers can take to rectify this. Firstly, the writers need to take more risks and prioritize character development over plot convenience. Secondly, they need to listen to their own creators and take the time to get the details right, even if it means deviating from the usual narrative arc. And finally, they need to recognize that even the most overlooked characters have a lot to say about the show's themes and social commentary. The characters of Doctor Who are its greatest strength, but they're also its biggest weakness. By embracing complexity, taking risks, and trusting their own creators, the writers of Doctor Who can create a more nuanced, more realistic, and more unforgettable cast of characters that truly live up to the show's name.